This is a re-release of the September 11th episode I did a good while back. My plan is to release this each year so I can try to play my tiny part in hoping that this is something that is never forgotten. The sacrifices made by those on that day should always be remembered. I was working second shift at the time. I just got off work a little before 11 p.m., the normal time. A few of us would tend to stand around in the parking lot chatting for a few when we were done with work. It took time to wind down after a shift in the roughly 45-minute drive home, so it was not odd for me to still be up at 2 or 3 a.m. on most nights. I was woke up, which was early for me the next morning, from a phone call. It was my granddad. "Brandon, turn on the news. We're under attack." That was the morning of September 11th, 2001.
American 11, climb, maintain level 350. American 11, Boston. Earth 7, Mike Lima, how do you hear?
Mike Lima has you loud and clear.
American 11, Boston. American 11, the American on the frequency, how do you hear me?
This is Evan.
This is Boston. I turned American 20 left and I was going to climb him. He will not respond to me now.
Looks like he's turning right.
Yeah, I turned him 20 right.
Oh, okay.
And he's only going to, I think, 29.
Okay.
Left.
Sure, that's fine.
But
He
I'm
won't
not talking
answer
to
you.
him.
He's Nardo. Roger.
All right.
Thanks.
Air traffic control out of Boston, trying to reach American Airlines Flight 11.
American 11, if you hear Boston Center, ident.
Boston, got a 683, flight level 210, climb 230.
Final 683, Boston Center, roger, climb, maintain level 310.
Climb, maintain flight level 310.
American 11, if you hear Boston Center, ident, please, or acknowledge. American 11, if you hear Boston Center, recontact Boston Center on 127.82. That's American 11, 127.82.
Several attempts at raising American Flight 11 on the radio were unsuccessful.
American Airlines emergency line, please state your emergency.
Hey, this is Nitty at American Airlines calling. I am monitoring a call in which Flight 11, the flight attendant is advising our reps that the pilot, everyone's been stabbed.
Flight 11?
Yep. They can't get into the cockpit is what I'm hearing.
Okay, who's this I'm talking to?
Excuse me, this is Nitty at American Airlines at the Raleigh Reservation Center. I'm the operations specialist on duty.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Nydia
Nydia. And what's your last name?
Gonzalez, Gonzalez.
Raleigh reservations. Okay,
I
now
got
when
the
you...
flight attendant on the line with one of our agents.
Okay. And she's calling how?
Through reservation. I can go in on the line and ask the flight attendant questions.
Okay, I'm assuming they've declared an emergency. Let me get ATC on here. Stand by.
Gotten any contact with anybody? Okay, I'm still on with security, okay, Betty? You're doing a great job. Just stay calm, okay? We are, absolutely.
Okay, we're contacting the flight crew now. We're also contacting ATC.
Okay.
Anything else from this flight attendant?
So far what I've got, the number 5 flight attendant's been stabbed, but she seems to be breathing. The number 1 seems to be stabbed pretty badly, and she's lying down on the floor. They don't know whether she's conscious or not. The other flight attendants are in the back, and that's as far as I know. It seems like the passengers in the coach might not be aware of what's going on right now.
These 2 passengers were from first class?
Okay, hold on. Hey, Betty? Do you know any information as far as the gentlemen that are in the cockpit with the pilots? Were they from first class? They were sitting in 2A and B.
Okay.
They are in the cockpit with the pilots.
Who's helping them? Is there a doctor on board?
Is there a doctor on board, Betty, that's assisting you guys? You don't have any doctors on board, okay. So you've gotten all the first class passengers out of first class?
Have they taken everyone out of first class?
Yeah, she's just saying that they have. They're in coach. What's going on, honey? Okay, the aircraft is erratic again. Very erratic. She did say that all the first class passengers have been moved back to coach. So first class, the cabin is empty. What's going on your end, Craig?
We contacted air traffic control. They are going to handle this as a confirmed hijacking, so they're moving all the traffic out of this aircraft's way.
Okay.
He turned his transponder off, so we don't have a definitive altitude for him. We're just going by, they seem to think that they have him on a primary radar. They seem to think that he is descending.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Lydia?
Yes, dear, I'm here.
Okay. I have the dispatcher currently taking the current fuel on board, and we're going to run some profiles
Okay.
to see exactly what his endurance is.
Okay.
Did you...
She doesn't have an idea who the other passenger might be in first. Apparently they might have spread something, so they're having a hard time breathing or getting in that area. What's going on, Betty? Betty, talk to me. Betty, are you there? Betty? Winston, do you think you lost her? Okay, so we'll stay open. I think we might have lost her.
Okay.
After several minutes of attempting to contact American Flight 11, they finally get on the air.
30 minutes, 67.0.
Is that American 11 trying to call?
Buddy, we have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're turning to the airport. 15 Southwest of Ono going to Hampton.
And who's trying to call me here? American 11, are you trying to call?
Nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move, you'll endanger yourself and the airplane. Just stay quiet.
SOC, Ray Howland.
Ray Holland, Nancy Wyatt, Boston Flight Service.
Yes.
Okay, we've got the flight attendants on the line here.
You do have them on the line?
On the plane, yeah.
Can you conference them in with us?
I have no idea how to do that. If you can help me out. He's getting some information here. I'm going to read his notes for you. It looks like he's Middle Eastern. He speaks no English. He was in 10B, 10 Baker,
Right.
9D and G. Speaks no English. The plane's in a rapid descent.
Is the cockpit still?
Yeah. Okay, the flight attendants are concerned they don't know what's going on in the cockpit. Are you in contact with them?
No, we're not. That's true. We're trying to get in contact with the cockpit.
Okay. No, you'll feel like you're just okay.
We don't really want to tell her that.
Okay, don't. Okay, got it. Okay, there. We're not sure. Okay, it looks like there is severe bleeding that. Okay. He's keeping her on the line. There's severe bleeding. There's a slashed throat. Michael, is that slashed throat a flight attendant? No. Okay. What's that?
Boston Flight Service has another one of the flight attendants on the phone too. Boston Flight Service.
Amy?
You lost it?
Yeah, okay, we lost the other one, so I really need to get on the phone with her.
Something's wrong. Amy Sweeney's on the phone.
Amy Sweeney?
Yeah, she's the number 9.
Okay.
And he's having trouble talking to her right now.
All right, these are the two that are injured.
1
and 5.
She started screaming and saying something's wrong, and now he's having trouble.
Okay.
And he thinks he might be disconnected. Okay, we just lost connection.
Lost the connection.
Yeah. Something's wrong with the airplane?
Yeah. In other words, she said something's wrong. It's not flying there. It's not flying there.
They're not in the cockpit.
No, they're
Okay, they're in the back of the plane.
They're in the back of the airplane?
Yeah, they're in the back of the airplane. They're not. Oh, the hijackers are in the cockpit.
Oh, no.
Okay, they're in the cockpit.
Hey, Craig. Craig. They're saying they're in the cockpit.
Amy said that
Listen, look to see when the next flight to Kennedy is, just in case we're going to Kennedy so we can be ready.
Anybody copy? I'm sorry. Say that again, please. I said looks like we lost the primary target about 20 west of Kennedy, and we had a report of an ELT in the area. We're going to, I guess we'll get some Coast Guard activity up there. Yeah, we lost the track, too.
Hey, Boston, this is New York. What type of aircraft was the American?
767.
This is the ACI watch. Say again, if you lost track of the aircraft, over?
Boston has lost track, and on our frequency we have confirmed that it was a hijack. That's on the tapes. Yeah, New York confirms we've lost the track as well, and we got a report of an ELT in the area that track was in. Kennedy Tower reports. Are you serious? Kennedy Tower reports that there was a fire at the World Trade Center, and that's the area where we lost the airplane. Anybody know what that smoke is in Lower Manhattan?
I'm sorry, say again?
A lot of smoke in Lower Manhattan.
A lot of smoke in Lower Manhattan?
Coming out of the top of the World Trade Center building, a major fire. Yeah.
At this point, no one outside the aviation world knew what was going on. And even then, there were very few, even in that field, that knew what happened for sure. On the ground, reports start flowing in from various emergency responders.
Italian 1 to Manhattan.
Italian 1.
We just had a plane crash into Alpha 4 of the World Trade Center, transmit a second alarm, and start relocating companies into the area.
10-4, Battalion 1.
Battalion 1 is also sending the whole confinement on this box to that area, okay? Engine 6 to Manhattan,
Engine 6.
The World Trade Center, tower number 1 is on fire. The whole outside of the building, there was just a huge explosion.
10-4, all companies stand by at the time.
There's been a second alarm on that box immediately.
10-4.
Engine 1 out of Manhattan.
Engine 1-0.
Engine 1 out, World Trade Center, 1060. Send every available ambulance, everything you got to World Trade Center now.
10-4, 1060 has been transmitted for the World Trade Center. 1060 for the World Trade Center.
3 truck to Manhattan.
3 truck.
Civilian reports from up here, a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center for your information.
10-4, okay.
Trucks available. Battalion 1 to Manhattan.
Battalion 1, okay.
We have a number of floors on fire. It looked like the plane was aiming towards the building. Transmit a third alarm. We'll have the staging area at Vesey and West Street. Have the third alarm assignment go into that area. Second alarm assignment report to the building, Kay.
Alright, 10-4. Second alarm assignment, report to the World Trade Center. Second alarm assignment, report to 1 World Trade Center.
Engine 1 out of Manhattan.
Engine 1, okay.
It appears an airplane crashed into the World Trade Center.
10-4. Third alarm's been transmitted box 8087. Third alarm transmitted box 8087 for 1 World Trade Center.
Squad 1-8 to Manhattan, Jay.
Squad 1-8.
It's the 1st Battalion transmitted that it looked like it was intentional. Inform all units going into the box. It could be a terrorist attack.
10-4. All units be advised.
Alright, a lot of attention, Manhattan. Lieutenant Manhattan, just so you know, this is confirmed. This is confirmed.
This is confirmed. 10-4, okay.
Engine 1 out of Manhattan.
Engine 1, okay. Yo.
Roll every available ambulance you got to this position.
10-4, okay.
Rescue 2 to Manhattan.
Rescue 2, yo.
Are we assigning your box to Manhattan, Ken?
Rescue 2, stand by.
Division 1 of Manhattan, K.
Division 1, okay.
No responding. Have another rescue start out.
10-4. Rescue 2, start out to box 8087, okay.
Rescue 2's responding, K. Squad 1-8 to Manhattan, K. Rescue 1 to Manhattan. What do you have in on this? Rescue 1 to Manhattan. Bring 1 to Manhattan.
Division 1, go with your message.
What's the response to some of this right now?
Division 1, you now have a third alarm assignment to the box, okay?
Division 1, 10-4, that's confirmed. We have fire on several floors, the upper floors of the World Trade Center.
10-4, Division 1.
Hey, I got no siren. Squad 1-8 to Manhattan, okay. 4 Bravo to Manhattan.
4 Bravo, okay.
4 Bravo is responding to the World Trade Center.
10-4, okay.
40 Adams to Manhattan.
40 Adams.
On the way to the Trade Center.
10-4. Third alarm has been transmitted box 8087 for number 1 World Trade Center.
5-5 to Manhattan. Engine 5-5 to Manhattan.
Engine 5-5.
Could you please have ambulances respond to West Street? We have several injured people on West Street here.
10-4 into 5.
Battalion 1 to Manhattan, Jay. 1-4 to Manhattan.
This is obviously when the first plane hit. Word had not immediately gotten out that this had happened. News stations started picking up that something had happened, but it was all speculation. Some said a small plane, some said it was a missile, but everyone knew from the video playing right in front of their eyes that the World Trade Center was burning. And the world started tuning in.
Credit card or other debts? Just log on. Number 2.
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center. The CNN Center right now is just beginning to work on this story, obviously calling our sources and trying to figure out exactly what happened, but clearly something relatively devastating happening this morning there on the south end of the island of Manhattan. That is, once again, a picture of one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
We can see these pictures. It's obviously something devastating has happened. And again, unconfirmed report that a plane has crashed into one of the towers there. We are efforting more information on this subject as it becomes available to you.
That was when CNN first cut in, and they did cut in, as you could hear, right in the middle of a commercial. Interviews with people on the street watching this, aviation experts, anyone who could possibly have knowledge on how this could be happening, were being contacted and put it on the air. This is all the way that this was running. Meanwhile, on the ground and behind the scenes, police, firemen, and the dispatchers were going at a feverish pace. Calls were flowing in from both the ground and the people that were trapped in the towers. Firemen, in the face of unheard danger, were walking up flights of steps at this point trying to reach the fire when most people were trying to get as far away from it as possible. Police on the streets were trying to help the injured, trying to orchestrate their own rescues and trying to formulate how this could have happened. The dispatchers at this point were rolling faster than anyone could have ever imagined. You could hear in the radio traffic with the fire department that was just played. There were a lot of units asking for a lot of info and even more additional resources. The dispatcher is not simply replying to the units calling him. He's also talking with other dispatchers around him, organizing the subsequent alarms, the ambulances, setting up staging areas, and also likely has a set of supervisors standing right on top of him to gain info to send to their higher-ups, all while being on the phone, calling, making notifications, or fielding questions from other people of what happened. In addition, imagine, if you can, being a call taker during this time. It's a normal, clear September morning. Likely not much past rush hour traffic accidents and other routine calls taking place. Phone lines were acting normally. And then you hear the notification for backed up 911 calls. You look at the queue and the numbers keep going up and they don't stop. The first call you take saying, "I just saw a plane crash into the World Trade Center," would instantly get your adrenaline pumping. Minutes into the madness, still trying to grasp the severity of the situation, the second plane hits.
Marine 6 to Manhattan, urgent. Hazmat 1, stand by. Marine 6, go. You have a second plane into the other tower of the Trade Center. Major fire. Crawford David, Marine 6 advising a second plane into the World Trade Center, okay. Marine 6, that's the other tower. That's the second tower of the World Trade Center, okay.
All units stand by unless urgent. Manhattan calling car 4 David, Ken.
Okay.
Manhattan calling car 4 David.
Car 4 David, Manhattan.
Alright, be advised, you're report of a second plane that crashed into the second tower. Be advised on the 83rd floor, room 8311, we have people trapped. Room 8311, 83rd floor. Car 4 David, acknowledge.
Car 4 David, 10-4. Marine 6 to Manhattan.
Marine 6, go with your men.
Marine 6, that plane was a large bomber-style green aircraft into the second tower, be advised.
Alright, 10-4.
Engine, there's no plane hit the second tower, okay?
Alright, 10-4. Manhattan calling car 4 David.
3 Adam to Manhattan.
3 Adam, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I'm on the FDR drive. Definitely something hit the second tower. Approximately 2/3 of the way up. You got visible fire showing out there. Suggest to the incident commander, Fort David, to transmit a fifth alarm to Tower 2.
Manhattan calling car 4 David.
Brooklyn to Manhattan with an urgent.
Stand by and let's urgent. Manhattan calling car 4 David, K. Manhattan calling car 4 David. Manhattan calling Division 1K. Division
1K.
Division 1, be advised. 3 Adam reports they have a second plane that crashed into the second tower about 2/3 of the way up. He recommends you transmit a 5th alarm for that trailer as well.
Yeah, 10-4, go ahead. Proceed with your 16K.
All right, 10-4.
Tactical support 2 to Manhattan.
Tactical support 2, go ahead.
Send me a ticket entering the tunnel.
All right, 10-4.
Corner Manhattan.
Field com, go ahead, check.
Hey, we're 1084 this box. Do us a favor, please, for your call. Our boss is downtown and having secured the MCC, and we're located at Broadway and Maiden Lane. At Broadway and Maiden Lane. Having report the MCC to this location. We do need help here.
All right, you want, what is that location, Ken?
On Broadway and Maiden Lane. Just to have the MCC and have our personnel be security at this location.
The MCC, Ken?
And I'm requesting that at this location. You have 2 buildings on fire here. 1-4 to Manhattan, K.
Units call Manhattan, go ahead.
Engine 1-4.
1-4, go ahead.
Yeah, we're at Houston and Broadway, available for the World Trade Center.
All right, engine 1-4, remain in service this time. Stand by.
Division 3 to Manhattan.
Go ahead, go with your message.
Division 3 to Manhattan.
Division 3, go with your message.
Are we being assigned to any of these boxes down at the World Trade Center?
Affirmative, Division 3, continuing.
Hey, 10-4, Division 3 to Manhattan. Call the car 4 David, who's ever on the scene. Do they want to institute a recall due to the incident, okay?
Manhattan calling car 4 David. Manhattan calling car 4 David, check. Manhattan calling car 4 David.
Division 3 to Manhattan.
Division 3, go ahead.
Did you give me the box that I'm being assigned to, Kay? Brooklyn to Citywide. Brooklyn to Manhattan.
All right, Division 3, you're going to 2 World Trade Center. Box is 9998. Okay.
Division 3, 10-4.
Units calling Manhattan, 1 at a time, check.
Division 1 to Manhattan.
1 engine, go.
Division 1 to Manhattan. All incoming units to World 1 and World 2 Trade Center are to bring additional cylinders.
All right, engine 1, repeat that, Kay, you're totally unreadable.
Division 1 to Manhattan. All responding units responding into number 1 and number 2 World Trade Center are to bring additional cylinders with them.
All units stand by unless urgent in the borough of Manhattan. All units responding into number 1 World Trade Center and number 2 World Trade Center. Bring all additional SCBA bottles to the front of the building. All units responding to box 8087 and 99 and 98. Number 1 and number 2 World Trade Center. Bring your extra SCBA bottles to the front of the building. As per the division. Other units calling Manhattan.
4 for the Manhattan case.
4 Bravo, go ahead.
Our field com report to bring a vehicle in front of the American Express building on West Street by orders of Chief Ingram.
Manhattan calling field com.
You got it, Manhattan. Thank you.
I 10-4 field com. Thank you.
Ford truck to Manhattan, Kate.
Ford truck, go ahead.
Line 131 to Manhattan.
31 standby. Ford truck, go ahead.
Tower, would you like us to respond into Tower 1 or Tower 2, Kate?
Ford truck, go to 2 World Trade Center, K.
Ford truck, 10-4.
131, go ahead. Right on 131. Other unit call Manhattan.
1-1 to Manhattan.
Right on 1-1, go ahead.
Which tower are we to respond into?
You're going to 2 World Trade Center, K2.
1-1 going to 2, 10-4.
And bring all your extra SCBAs up with you, K.
10-4. Squad company 2, engine 2-1.
At 1 unit at a time. 211. Last squad company calling.
Squad 252 to Manhattan, K. We have our second piece responding to the World Trade Center.
252, when you get there, bring up all your extra SCBA bottles, K.
10-4. Division 3 to Manhattan.
Division 3, go with you, man.
I can't pick up the units that you've assigned to my 5th alarm. Have you got it in the computer yet, K?
Affirmative, they should be on there now. Do you want to run down?
Well, let me try one more time in the computer, because all I'm getting is like 5 units. I'll get back to you in a second.
Alright. We're getting them on there as fast as we can, K.
Engine 1-0 to Manhattan.
1-0, go ahead, K.
Engine 1-0, inform every unit coming to the scene responding on West Street or Liberty Street not to pull up in front of the building. We have ambulances and everybody else pulling up, and we got debris falling from the building. They have to stop short of the building, either north or south.
Units responding in to the World Trade Center. Do not pull in front of the building on West or Liberty. Okay. Units responding into the World Trade Center. Do not pull in front of the building on West and Liberty.
Yeah, Division 3 to Manhattan.
Division 3, guys.
For some reason, only giving me a few units. You're going to have to give it to me over the radio. I'm ready to write.
All right. Engine 211. Ladder 11. Engine 44. Engine 22. Engine 53. Engine 40. Yourself, Battalion 10. Battalion 12. Ladder 16. Ladder 2. Ladder 13. Engine 21. Engine 23. Engine 209. Engine 212. Engine 279. Engine 230. Engine 229. Engine 216. Engine 217. Engine 2...
It was about this time, as I was watching the smoke billowing out of now both of the towers, that I wondered if my own center was experiencing any additional problems. I called work to see if they needed any extra people. Surprisingly, no. Just like most other places not directly affected by the planes, everyone sat glued to their TV, all staring in disbelief at what was being broadcast in real time, at home, at work, in schools. This meant there were very few people calling the police in Nashville and really almost any other city. A reporter from New York ABC affiliate Channel 7 is just setting up when this happens.
Take 2. Take 2 and 2, 1. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way!
The fire department, as you heard, was standing right next to the reporter when this happened. They started making their calls on the radio at this point.
C3, a major collapse in one of the towers.
Tower, Gate.
Tower 2, Tower 2. The South Tower, major collapse.
10-4. Banana field comp, Gate. Banana field comp.
Marine 6 to Manhattan.
Stand by, Banana field comp. Banana field comp.
Marine 6 to Manhattan, urgent.
Marine 6.
Tower 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area.
Marine 6, 10-4, we were notified, Gate. Banana field comp, Gate. Banana field comp. Banana 416.
35 engine, 50 engine, 64 engine, 94 engine, 83 engine. Those units going to the 5th alarm box 2033. We've been advised the West Side Highway has been open to emergency traffic. The West Side Highway is open to emergency traffic. Take that route going to Weston VZ. Acknowledge 68. 68, 10-4. 5. 5 engine. 10-4, 35. 50. 5-0, 10-4. 4. 10-4. 84. 94, 10-4. 83. 83, 10-4. 10-4. And Northfield Blvd. 240 Manhattan. Okay, 240. There's been a major collapse in the tower. The command center out here, everybody it was a major collapse. I'm in my rig right now. But we notified them that there's a major collapse in the area. Well, everybody in the area had to warn. I don't know if the field comm unit's available.
Then we hear a cry for help on the radio. Something that is bone-chilling to hear as a dispatcher. Amazingly, this is not from a firefighter.
Can anybody hear me? Yes. I'm a civilian. I'm trapped inside of one of the fire trucks underneath the collapse that just happened. Stand by, there's people close to you. I can't breathe much longer. Save me. I'm in a camping truck.
Hey, person transmitting to Mayday. Where are you, Kay?
I just told you. If you look at the World Trade Center, there's the North Pedestrian Bridge. I think it collapsed when that partial building just collapsed. I was on the street. I don't have much air. Please, help me. 82 I copy that. I'm going to go look for him.
10-4. Manhattan Field Comm, urgent case.
I can barely breathe. Please save somebody.
Okay, the person calling for help. Listen to me. You need to calm down and relax. Stand by. We do have somebody on the way. You're going to maintain air. Get off the air. We do have somebody on the way over to you. You're going to remain calm. 10-4?
10-4, I'm in the camp of the truck.
10-4, we do have people on the way over there. Manhattan Field Comm, urgent case.
4-3, Manhattan.
Stand by. Manhattan Field Comm, urgent. Manhattan Field Comm. Field Comm, go. All right, Manhattan Division 1-1. Any other unit calling Manhattan? Manhattan Field Comm, Kay.
George, have them mobilize the Army. We need the Army in Manhattan.
All right, all units stand by. Everybody try to calm down. Manhattan to Field Comm, Kay. All right, Manhattan Division, Manhattan Car 9, urgent. Manhattan Car 9, urgent. All right, Manhattan, any unit operating at the 5th alarm, West Street and Liberty Street, and tower number 2, any unit, Kate. Any unit operating at number 2 World Trade Center at the collapse. Contact Manhattan by radio forthwith.
33 Bravo, Manhattan, urgent. Truck 15, Manhattan.
All right, car 33 Bravo. We understand it's a major collapse. Can you give us some kind of report, Kate?
Truck 15 to Manhattan.
All right, ladder 15, go.
Truck 15 to Manhattan.
All right, ladder 15, you're on. Go ahead.
This is an EMS worker. There's been a major collapse. We need additional units forthwith.
10-4, we have multiple units on the way in. Ladder 15. Can you ascertain if Field Comm is part of the collapse case?
Ladder 15 to Manhattan. Be advised, I'm not a Sydney MOS. I'm an EMS MOS.
Ladder 15. Manhattan, any unit at number 2 World Trade Center. All right, Manhattan, any unit operating at number 2 World Trade Center, urgent.
EMS, Ladder 15.
Ladder 15, Manhattan.
Do you have a...
Yeah, I want you to go to the nearest chief, fire department chief, and have him come to the radio forthwith. If you find anybody with a white hat, get him to the radio. I need a report to find out what else I can send to him. All units stand by unless urgent. Is there a staff chief or a battalion chief trying to call Manhattan?
Ladder 15 to Manhattan. We're sitting at the command post. Be advised. Post, the secret shelter in the building. They're coming out now.
All right, all units stand by. Ladder 15 and ladder 15 only. Go ahead with your message. Ladder 15, you have a message? What other unit calling Manhattan? What other unit calling Manhattan?
31 active calling Manhattan.
Battalion 1, go ahead.
Engine 231, I'm at the World Trade Center. Do you want me to relay a message?
Yes, I want you to find the chief officer and have him come to this radio so I can find out what additional help I can send him. You have 3 fifth alarm assignments and a second alarm assignment, either at the scene or responding. Let me know who's in command there at this moment.
231, 10-4.
Do that forthwith.
231, 10-4. Ladder 124 to Manhattan.
Ladder 124.
We're in church and work. We're at the scene of the collapse.
All right, 10-4, Ladder 124. Are you previously assigned to one of those boxes?
Negative. We picked it up as a verbal. We were acting Ladder 5. There's people all over the place.
All right, Ladder 124. All units stand by, please. Please stand by. Other unit calling.
Manhattan.
This is Manhattan, go ahead.
We're on 57th and West Side Highway. Let us go down west and get back to you, let you know what's going on.
What unit is this?
4-3.
You break it up. Who are you?
On a 4-3.
I truck. I'm going to assign you to box 50 at Western Albany.
Back here, as soon as I see something. Manhattan.
All units, please stand by. 1 unit at a time. What ladder company calling? What other unit calling?
3 Charlie.
3 Charlie.
4 Charlie, the operations post, the command post is going to be set up on West Street. They're moving completely out to West Street.
All right, the command post is being consolidated. Everybody's moving out to West Street. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'm in contact with Chief Fian and Commissioner Fian, and that's where we're going to start moving out of further collapse zones.
In total, over 1,600 911 calls were placed from either in or directly around the towers. All of those 911 calls have been recorded and released, but the callers' voices have been removed out of respect for their families. Though portions of 2 calls have been released, but only for the trial of the lone surviving terrorist, Zachariah Musawi, who was currently serving 6 life sentences without parole for his role in organizing this attack. The first of these calls is from Kevin Cosgrove.
Okay, there are notifications made.
What's that?
All right, so what's the telephone number? I'm waiting for FC to pick up. What's the telephone number you're calling?
You can do MC.
You can do MC.
441-2623.
441?
2623.
Okay. It's on 105th floor on the northwest corner, right?
Right.
At number 2 World Trade Center.
Right. Lady, there's 3 of us in this office. We're not ready to die, but it's getting bad.
I understand, sir. We can go transfer all the apparatus there. I'm trying to let them know where you are. hold on.
Oh, please hurry. Fire Department 408.
This is 1597.
Let me talk to the caller, PD.
1597.
Let me talk to the caller. Where is he?
He's on the line.
Let me talk to him. Where's the fire, sir? There's smoke right there. 105, 2 power. All right, sit tight. We'll get to you as soon as we can. There's some staying up, but the smoke's really bad, man. I barely leave. That's all we can do. Where are you? What's where you guys up to? We're getting there. We're getting there. Doesn't feel like it, man. I got young kids. I understand that, sir. We're on the way.
He's on the 105th corner, northwest corner.
Yeah, no problem. Little operator? Yeah. Come on, man.
Okay, we have everything, sir.
I know you do, but it doesn't seem like it. You got lots of people up here.
I understand.
I know you got a lot in the building, but we're up on the top. Smoke rises, it's really good. We're on the floor, we're in a window. And then I have to barely breathe now. Can't see.
Okay. Just try to hang in there. I'm going to say this to
you. Say you're in an air-conditioned building. What the hell happened?
Okay, I'm still here. He's been trying to fight apart and he's trying to get to you.
Doesn't feel like it.
Okay, try to calm down so you can conserve your oxygen, okay? Try to...
Thank God to blow the wind from the west. It's really bad. It's black. It's arid. Does anybody else want to chime in here? We're young men. We're not ready to die.
I understand.
How the hell are you going to get my ass down? I need oxygen.
They're getting to you. They have a lot of apparatus on the
It doesn't feel like it, lady. You get them in from all over. They get in from Jersey. I don't give a shit Ohio.
Okay, so what's your last name?
Mine's Cosgrove. I must have called about a dozen times already. Cosgrove. Yeah, my wife thinks I'm all right. I called her and said I was leaving the building. I was fine, and bang.
Well, I want
to... Hold on. Yeah. Cherry. Dead Cherry. Is that right? Yeah. Dead Cherry is next to me. 105. Whose office? John Astro's office.
That's where you go. That's the office.
We're in John Astro's office. OST. ARU. ARU. Right, that's the office we're in. There's 3 of us in here. OST, ARU. OST, ARU. Hello? Hello. We're looking at financial center. 3 of us, 2 broken windows. Oh, God!
At the end of that call was when Tower 2 collapsed. He was 46 years old. The only other call that was released for the trial was from Melissa Doy. It's a little over a 4-minute excerpt of a 24-minute call. This is that call.
Mother's God. 8695, good morning, have a good day. Hi, what's your number again, please? 8695. Oh my God, I'm on the 83rd floor. 86 what? I'm on the 83rd floor. Tell me 86 what? 8695. 8695. She at the World Trade Center. Someone having difficulty breathing on the 83rd floor. Okay, ma'am, how you doing? Are they going to be able to get somebody up here? Well, of course, ma'am. We're coming up to you. Well, there's no one here yet, and the floor is completely engulfed. We're on the floor, and we can't breathe. Okay. And it's very, very, very hot. Is all the lights still on? The lights are on, but it's very hot. Ma'am. Very hot. We're all the way on the other side of Liberty, and it's very, very hot. Any lights? You can turn the lights off? No, the lights are off. Okay, good. Now, everybody stay calm. You're doing a good job. Please. Ma'am, listen. The ambulance, everybody's coming. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what happened, okay? But no, they have to take time to come up there. You know that. You got to be very careful.
Very hot.
I understand. You got to be very, very careful how they approach you, okay? All right? So when they come upstairs, it won't be worse than it is. Now, you stay calm. So how many people where you're at right now?
There's like 5 people here with me.
Call up from the 83rd floor?
83rd floor.
With 5 people. 5 patients. Everybody's having trouble breathing?
Everybody's having trouble breathing. Some people are worse.
And some people unconscious. Everybody's awake?
So far, yes. But
listen. Everybody's awake?
Yes, so far.
Conscious. And it's very hot there, but no fire, right?
I can't see.
No,
it's too high.
Very hot. No fire for now, and no smoke, right? No smoke, right?
Of course there's smoke.
Ma'am, you have to stay calm.
There is smoke. I can't breathe.
Okay, you stay calm with me, okay? I understand.
I think there is fire because it's very hot.
Okay.
It's very hot everywhere on the floor.
Okay. I know you don't see it, and I know, but I'm going to document. I'm documenting what you say, okay? And it's very hot. We see no fire, but you see smoke, right?
It's very hot. I don't see any air anymore.
Okay.
All I see is smoke.
Okay, dear. I'm so sorry. Hold on one. Stay calm with me. Stay calm. Now, listen. The call is in. I'm documenting. I'm going to let those... Hold on 1 second, please.
I'm going to die, aren't I?
No.
I'm going to die.
Ma'am, say your prayers. And we're not going to die. We're going to think positive because you got to help each other get off the floor. Now, stay calm. You're doing a good job, ma'am. You're doing a good job.
It's so hot. I'm burning up.
Okay. If you don't, the floors is hot and everything is hot. They're all their desks. When you go up high, you get too close away from the smoke. Okay. I know you know. Hold on a second. 83rd floor, 3 people trapped. Very hot on the 83rd floor. 3 people trapped. Having trouble breathing. It's very hot.
Wait, we hear voices. Help!
And that's what I'm doing. I'm just letting you know. Okay. Hello, ma'am?
Help!
Stay calm. Ma'am?
Help!
Stay calm. Just don't move.
Oh, my God.
They're coming through with you now?
Find out if there's anybody here on the 83rd floor.
Ma'am, don't worry. You stay on the phone with me, and I already
Can you find out if there's anyone on the 83rd floor? Because...
Ma'am, I already... Listen. Excuse me. I already notified this lieutenant, okay? 80, I notified the city. 80? Yes, Lieutenant 80. I already notified the lieutenant that there's 5 people on the first floor, right? Very hot and smoky, so they won't overlook you, okay, dear?
Can you...
I already did that.
Stay on the line with me, please.
Yes, ma'am. I am going to stay with you.
I'm
Listen. Take
they're here?
Are they inside with you yet, dear?
No.
Okay, stay calm till they get inside.
Find out where they are.
Ma'am, stay calm till they get inside.
Karen. EMS, what's the job number you have?
I have 727. 727? Yes.
The dispatchers tasked with talking to these victims were literally helpless in these situations. There was simply nothing that could be done other than try to bring some level of reassurance and calm to the people trapped. One of the things that is hardest for dispatchers is knowing that at some point or at many points in your career, there will be people that no matter how or what you do, you won't be able to help them. This was the case in most of these calls placed that day. I put out a couple questions in various 911 groups asking other dispatchers what their day was like no matter what city they were working in that day. These are some of their responses.
I was working in the Toronto Comm Center teaching a class of brand new 911 call takers. It was their first day. We watched CNN in disbelief. We watched the Toronto Dispatch Center and Toronto officers go into heightened security mode due to the unknowns. It was surreal and frightening. As instructors, we tried to answer our students' concerns while having very limited info ourselves. To give them credit, every one of our new call takers returned for day 2 of training. Charlene Matthews.
I was at my desk as one of the ECC administrators when the first plane hit. Went to the break room to watch the TV and saw the second plane hit. And at that point, I turned around and started making calls, seeing if we could get an officer posted at the ECC. Then it was all about checking in with on-duty folks to be aware. The phones were so quiet that day. We had an employee who had called out sick that day, but she called in asking to come to work because her dad worked in the second tower and she didn't want to be home alone if they called her. Ultimately, he had missed his bus or subway and wasn't in the towers, but it was hours before she found out. Some employees self-reported. Many called to see if they were needed. ECC folks are always amazing. Erica Wilson.
I was working in central New Jersey. We had ambulance task force staged and ready to accept the large amount of patients that we believed would be transported by ferry to us. The local hospitals updated bed counts and were ready to accept patients. We did not get a single patient because the towers collapsed. It was eerily quiet and all we could do was listen to FDNY and NYPD all boroughs on the radio as they screamed for help. Every single open 911 cell call we got was possibly someone trapped. It was such a helpless feeling. We also had a large population of people that worked there and spent days and weeks entering them missing into NCIC. Karen Well Magnan.
I was working in Canada, and they put us all on lockdown immediately. No one was allowed to leave as they were landing large planes at small airports, concerned about who was on them and also didn't know if some of our landmarks were also a target. We wanted to load up on a bus and head to New York City, just 7 hours away, to help, but were told no. Our hearts sank for our USA neighbors, and we felt so helpless. Andrea Gaynor.
I was working 911 in Oklahoma. Things got crazy here. Fights in the street waiting to get gas because it would all be gone by the end of the day. We received numerous calls about it. Calls wanting to know if all the planes were accounted for. It was a day I will never forget. Dale Jones Griffin.
As for me, getting to work and just driving in was different. Before then, around shift change, our gates would remain open so employees could come and go more easily. The gates were closed. Additional security was brought up to cover all entrances, in which they were thoroughly checking IDs to make sure no one with ill intent was let inside the building. I expected the night to be slow and relatively uneventful. I was wrong. This event, that for weeks, months, and even years brought out the best in everyone volunteering to help and showing concern for their fellow Americans. But that afternoon, directly after the towers fell, every low-life scum with the slightest beef with anything called in threatening to do the same thing in other places. Bomb threats were commonplace that day. Threats on the government, on police officers, even on us dispatchers were made without a second thought. These pieces of filth were taking advantage of a terrible situation. We stood outside after work, talking extra long that night, about the calls we took, about the events that had taken place in New York and other places, about what we thought our families would do without us if something like this happened to us. None of us knew it at the time, but everyone working that day at any agency, in any role, changed a little. People of all walks of life changed that day. Photojournalist David Hanshu was nearby when all this started to happen. In an interview with NBC News, he stated, "I saw this big red fire truck, so I started following him. These are firefighters I've covered for years. They were waving to me when they drove by. There were 11 firefighters on Rescue 1 that morning. All 11 of them died September 11th. They were in their own hearse going to their own funerals. They just didn't realize it yet." The dispatcher talking to Melissa Doy before the phone line went dead was asked to call her mother on a 3-way call so Melissa could tell her one last time that she loved her. The phones were not equipped to do that. Melissa passed along her mother's name and phone number and asked if she could pass along one last message. Later that night, the dispatcher called Melissa's mother and relayed the message. "Tell my mother that I love her and that she's the best mom in the whole world." In total that day, 2,763 people were killed during the collapse of both towers. 2,192 civilians, 343 firefighters, and 71 law enforcement officers, as well as all the passengers and crew of the airplanes, which included 147 civilians and 10 hijackers. This episode is dedicated to the bravery and ultimate sacrifice given by each first responder that day, as well as each and every police, fire, medic, and 911 dispatcher still on duty today. The both courage and ongoing strife you have to exhibit and endure every day makes every one of you nothing short of a hero. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with your friends, family, and any first responders you may know. Give us a nice review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and come by and have a chat with us on Facebook on the Music City 911 podcast discussion group, or on Twitter or Instagram, where you can find us listed at Music City 911. And finally, consider supporting the show by going to www.patreon.com/MusicCity911.